Just getting some word from the newsroom that the Super Bowl's almost here.
Breaking news.
Yeah, word coming in that many of you may be consuming alcohol or snacks, and some of you may do so in excess.
No.
So we're going to check in with the 9 News medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, how you can enjoy the big game without having any major ramifications on your health. So we talk about this, Dr. Kohli, in a light sense, but there really is a problem here for some people where it could be, like you say, major ramifications on your health if you're not careful.
It could be a huge setback depending on what your diet and lifestyle goals are, because on a Super Bowl Sunday, the average American can consume in a single day up to 11,000 calories. And the majority of those, about 2,500 to 8,000, are occurring during game time. So you're talking 4 or 5 times the number of calories that you should be eating. And for an average person, it'll actually mean running a marathon to burn that off. So what you don't want to do, even though I think it's a fun day, I want you all to enjoy it with your friends and family and, eat the right things, is to fall off the wagon so hard that you have trouble sort of staying back on.
So pay attention. We were just talking about how tough it is because there's not like a sit-down dinner for most.
No,
I think
I guarantee you I would eat more on a Super Bowl than I would on Thanksgiving any day of the week.
Because it's a 6 or 8 hour graze where you just keep going back and having another chip, a slice of pizza, a slider, whatever's available on your table.
And the problem is the behavior is driven largely by socialization rather than hunger. And so the satiety signal in your brain is not necessarily telling you you're hungry because you've just had a piece of pizza or a chip or whatever, but you're just kind of doing it as part of like eating those nachos that look so delicious. They do look very good, but I would say put some avocado on those rather than all that cheese and sour cream, because that's a healthier alternative. But really pay attention to, are you hungry? The other thing I would suggest, instead of having a big number of bowls in the middle of the table and just picking, is actually make a plate. And you can graze out of that plate, but that way you can control the portions on that plate and really have a sense of kind of how many calories you're putting inside.
We're going to put the food 25 feet up in a tree, so you have to scale it to go get it.
That might help. That certainly might help, yeah.
And I guess it does matter if you're like you're really invested in one team or the other, because I think if a team starts losing, you just do.
It's right.
Emotional eating.
And you know what, Kim, that actually psychology studies tell us that it's not just that day, but even the next day. So people whose team loses actually eat 16% more saturated fat the next day, whereas if your team wins, you eat 9% less saturated fat. So your behavior doesn't just happen on Sunday, it actually carries over into Monday and the rest of the week. And there are things you can do to actually prepare yourself for that marathon eating on Sunday and then recover from it.
I want to ask you, though, about like what you can eat. I mean, we're not going to say, have a nice kale. That's not realistic for most people. What are some healthy choices, whether it comes to food or alcohol?
So I would say a couple things. One, prepare your snacks at home so that you're controlling what's going into it rather than, eating those pre-made packaged snacks that are high in sodium, triglycerides, and other types of things. The second is try to substitute healthier alternatives. So put a more kind of, vegetable platters or put some fruit and chocolate. That's a nice kind of a dessert thing.
Alternatives.
Healthier.
Not necessarily healthy, but healthier.
Healthier.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So avocado on your chips or cauliflower pizza rather than the regular pizza. And then just make sure if you're drinking that alcohol that you're also chugging lots of water with it, because that's what's going to help flush out all that sodium and salt that you're taking in.
Water is good. Well, enjoy the game. Eat red and green foods.
I have never tasted a good, healthy chip in my life, but I'm going to keep looking.
On that note.
Chips? Well, I'll have to introduce you to some.
Thank you, Dr. Kohli. No, that was good.
Enjoy the weekend.
Good stuff.
Everyone enjoy the weekend. We'll be right back.